Hi, I'm Steve, the Introverted Traveler. I've made it my mission in life to explore the beaches, deserts, mountains, and even cityscapes around us, and to do so while avoiding contact with as many people as possible. And although I will never hang out with you for any reason, I do invite you to join me on my journey. Come and see the world through the eyes of an extreme introvert. On this adventure, we are on our way to Sawtooth Mountain via the Pacific Crest Trail in the Indian Heaven Wilderness of southern Washington. Along the way, we will see beautiful fall colors, travel through dense forests, and enjoy the sights of not one, but two giant volcanoes. All this and much more on this Introverted Travels. Greetings, and I'm back yet again on yet another adventure. And today, we are headed deeper and deeper into the fall season. Here in the Pacific Northwest, the colors are starting to change, the weather is starting to get cooler, and the pumpkin spice is starting to get spicier. So, of course, I am out in one of my favorite spots in the fall season for hiking. Well, actually, at the moment, I'm in the middle of the forest and you can't even see any of the pretty fall. I mean, you see green things, you see bark, you see dirt, you see the same things that I talk about in every single video. But I am specifically in the Indian Heaven Wilderness today. Now, I've had some very, very good luck here in the Indian Heaven Wilderness, and I've had some very, very bad luck. I mean, on the good side, last year I did the Red Mountain Lookout hike. There were a few people on that, and that was terrible, but it was manageable. I managed to keep lucidity and sanity in check. I did the Lamai Rock Trail, and again, too many people, but more than one is too many people, and I kept things in check. I did the Indian Heaven Trail because, of course, you have to do the Indian Heaven Trail when you're in the Indian Heaven Wilderness because, I mean, the names match. That's like the star of the show. I mean, if it's a trail named after the place you're in, you go do it. And there were a few too many people on there for my liking. Again, more than one is awful, but again, I was able to keep sanity in check. But then I did the Blue Lake hike. And just off the bat, when I got to that trailhead, there was literally a sea of cars. There were so many cars there that I have to discuss it using nautical terms. There were like 5 gazillion people swimming, we're going to stick with the nautical terms for a second, swimming through the forest. But not only were they swimming through the forest, they were eating everything in sight. They were picking huckleberries off the bushes. They were picking wild blueberries. At one point, I'm pretty sure they were stripping the bark from the trees and eating that. By the time I was done with the hike, I came back and there was literally nothing left of the forest. It was just a bunch of stumps and some hikers laying there with like extended stomachs going, "Oh, I ate too much of nature." But needless to say, it was chaos. It was noise. It was children. And it was awful. I mean, it was beautiful because it was the Indian Heaven Wilderness, but it was like the mall part of the Indian Heaven Wilderness. So I don't know about today. Today, I am going to something called Sawtooth Mountain. Now, just to get to the trailhead, which, by the way, is also the trailhead for, well, in this particular case, the southern direction of our wonderful, beautiful Pacific Crest Trail. The northern direction, well, it's going north, so it's that way. But not only is the trailhead for the Pacific Crest Trail, it's also the trailhead to go down to go to my hike to Sawtooth Mountain. And when I got to said trailhead, there were a couple of cars, or 2 cars on the side of the road, and then there was a little parking lot that had 3 or 4 other cars. So let's say about 6 or 7 cars. If I do the introverted math on that, that's 7 cars times, the minimum capacity of 4 people per car. Just estimating here, and that's about 28 people, which of course is 28 people too many. I mean, if I'm on a planet with just 28 people, that's a nightmare. I don't want to be on a planet with 28 people. 28 dogs, yes. 28 billion dogs, yes. 28 people, oh. In terms of the population of the planet, that's just a very minuscule amount. And I think I can keep my sanity in check. And this is all really about me keeping my sanity in check because, look at me, it's on the verge of sliding into the oblivion at any given second of any given day. So, it's a tedious operation out here. But what that means for this hike is Or it may be like this the entire time. Trees, green things, and beautiful, beautiful solitude. So far, I am optimistic because I do not want a repeat of the Blue Lake incident. According to the thing that I would like hungry hikers to eat and then go poop out in the woods, all trails, this hike is about 5.5 miles. Statistically, all trails could be completely accurate. It could be 5.5 miles. Statistically, all trails could be overestimating the mileage, and it may be less than 5.5 miles. But there is a much higher probability that it is much more mileage. I mean, this might not be a 5.5 mile hike. This could be a 25.5 mile hike. Why is all trails so awful that it can't even predict the mileage of a hike? Well, first of all, it's because the way all trails is coded, the developers just take a box of tree frogs and they dump it out over the keyboard. They don't do anything to the tree frogs. They just let them hop around the keys, and whatever they press or jump on or hop on, and whatever comes up on the screen, that goes into the app. That is literally how the app is coded. It is coded by tree frogs. And because their app is coded by tree frogs, that means that all trails sucks. But I pretty much think that I've said it all. So I'm going to actually go ahead and get going down the trailhead because I don't think there's anything else you need to know. You know all trail sucks. You know I'm in the woods. You know people sucks. You know it's fall. You know I'm insane. All the good stuff that you already knew, I've established. So I'm done. I could keep prattling on, but might be more fun if we just go and whine, bitch, moan, and complain about whatever the hell we find down the trail. Well, already there's controversy here in the forest. Of course, it's just between me and me because it's my own controversy. But according to Wonderful, Beautiful All Trails, let me turn it on, I've only gone about 0.74 miles, which, since I always go off of All Trails mileage count, feels about right to me. I don't feel like I've been on this trail for over a mile, but I am so used to All Trails and All Trails' inability to, well, frankly, do anything correct, that I may have just trained myself to be wrong, because I wore my Apple Watch today, and I've got the hiking app on. I don't normally wear this thing. This usually just sits in a drawer because, I mean, I've got time on my phone and it just seems horribly redundant. Plus, it's one more piece of technology that I have to worry will become sentient and try to kill me. I mean, I'm insane after all. These are the type of things I have to consider. I turned the hiking app on after I turned on All Trails, but already Apple is claiming that I've done over a mile, like 1.05 or something like that. So I'm torn here in the woods. Do I believe one greedy money-grubbing corporation that sucks up to Donald Trump, or do I believe the other money-grubbing corporation that may or may not suck up to Donald Trump? I don't know anything about All Trails because I'm not really that much in the fantasy fiction. I literally have a conundrum here in the forest. Am I at 0.75 miles? Maybe. It feels about right. Am I at 1.05 miles? Possibly. I mean, I am trained off All Trails, so I might not even be in the state of Washington. All Trails says I am. I could be in Idaho. I mean, I don't see any white supremacists and potatoes around, but I could very well be in Idaho just because All Trails said I'm not, and All Trails is always wrong. Apple's not claiming that I'm in Idaho. They're all claiming that I'm in Washington, but one is claiming actually 1.14 miles versus 0.74. I mean, it's giant evil tech corporation versus giant evil tech corporation. It's the nerds at Apple versus the tree frogs at All Trails. And I feel torn in the middle because I don't know what to believe. My entire world has been completely shaken. now there's chaos in the woods. Now, I was originally planning to show you this wonderful, beautiful, degrading and decaying sign that actually announces, I guess when I started at the PCT, I wasn't officially in the Indian Heaven Wilderness. And so I went down the PCT, and now I'm about to cross over into the Indian Heaven Wilderness. And of course, the most exciting thing that I could talk about are, geopolitical divisions on a map. I'm not in the Indian Heaven Wilderness right now. I'm standing in front of it. But if I go past this dilapidated, decaying sign, I'm officially in, according to lines drawn on paper. However, as I was attempting to make said entertaining and completely 100% interesting, no matter what you think, video, I saw 3 people. But I didn't just see them. No. Apparently, when you're out in the wilderness, people aren't content with just walking past you and ruining your day. No, they have to literally announce themselves from, it was like a mile and a half down the trail. I heard wah, 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 wah. Because no, you can't come to the forest and use calm voices. You have to shout as loud as you can, not only to scare wildlife, but to scare introverts as well. The conversation was quite wonderful that I could literally hear down the trail. Now, I could hear it for so long coming down the trail because the jackass who was talking was so damn loud that I pretty much know what he was talking about. He apparently worked at a winery, and he worked with his friends at the winery, and there was a guy that owned the winery, and there was a whole bunch of talk about a winery. And then I noticed that they had a dog, and I looked at the dog, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, dude. Run. I'll rescue you. Come back to me, and I'll take you away from them. Then it was like a dam broke, and I saw 3 more people, and then more people after that, and more people after that. I just had to cut filming this segment of the video because there were people. They're coming from all directions. They're coming from that direction. That's Mexico. They're coming from that direction. That's La Canada in that direction. And they're talking. And I've already had 3 hellos, and I may have had a good morning. I don't know. After 3 hellos, my mind went numb, and I think I lost consciousness for a couple minutes. But that's what's happening out here. So instead of getting the mentally stimulating discussion of rotting trail signs and, map boundaries, you get to hear once again about how terrible all of humanity is, because literally all of humanity is out here, and apparently they're all working at that one winery, and they've all got dogs. Now, of course, the dogs are innocent victims and all that, so I'm not going to make fun of the dogs, but there's people up the trail. There's people down the trail. Really, the horrible news is that there's people. I mean, it really was evolution screwed up. I mean, evolution had to pick like the worst species to give intelligence to, because not only are they destroying their own planet, not only are they electing orange dictators as president and moving into fascism, but they're also out here bugging the hell out of me by talking about their wineries as loud as they can in the woods. Oh my heavens. I may have actually done the one thing that I didn't think was possible. I've literally found, you talk about things like finding Bigfoot or finding the lost city of Atlantis. Well, those are everyday mundane activities compared to what I just discovered. I found something useful on all trails. And there was a little black point on the map, and so I clicked on it because I'm headed up. Well, I'm literally on Sawtooth Mountain. I'm sort of at the base of it. I haven't gotten that far because it's flatter down there, but I'm headed up Sawtooth Mountain, and I clicked on the little black dot, and I actually got information that isn't completely ridiculously irrelevant crap. It says here, Sawtooth Mountain is a shield volcano. Now, if you remember the difference between strato and shield volcanoes, well, it's mineral composition, really. And of course, you want to get all your geological information from the weird bald guy that makes strange noises in the woods and talks about trail bathrooms and how much he hates all humanity. In this particular case, a shield volcano will have magma that has a mineral composition, and I'm aiming you in the direction of what I think is the shield volcano. I mean, it's not very volcanic anymore. This is an extinct volcano. Its magma can flow really easily, and so like in Hawaii, those are shield volcanoes. They flow really easily, and you get these huge structures built up over time. And stratovolcanoes are, well, they're more like people from the East Coast. They're really pent up, and they're about to blow at any given second because they're just so full of hot air and gas. And so what you do get is you get huge explosions and things built up into like a big cone, and you don't get the sloping, gentle, long slopes of a shield volcano. So that's the difference between the two. Now, we're in the Pacific Northwest. There's been volcanism going on here since the invention of Starbucks, probably. And so you get a mixture of old shield volcanoes, you get a mixture of active stratovolcanoes, so on and so forth. But listen to this. It is located midway between Mount St. Helens and Mount Adams and dates from the Pleistocene and Holocene. Don't remember what the dates are on those, but those are periods of time when there were fewer people than there are now. Now we're in the terrible scene. Sawtooth Mountain is the third highest point at 5,354 feet in this region. The mountain forms a series of welded volcanic rock spires, an eroded remnant of an ancient shield volcano. Geology is drama. I mean, it takes a million years to get dramatic, but it's drama, man. While Sawtooth Mountain is not the highest, its craggy appearance makes it one of the most namesake peaks in the Indian Heaven volcanic field. I'm not sure the grammar on that. Well, don't know who the hell wrote this thing, but it's all trails, so we're lucky it's not written in crayon. But yeah, we don't see any spires or anything like that yet. But again, I'm at the base of the mountain. So we're gonna go up. According to all trails, there's geology. Well, looky what I found. Okay, I'm acting like it's a big deal that I actually found that. No, this is a gigantic volcano. I mean, that thing is like 12,000 feet high. It's not hard to see, but I mean, it's great. I didn't realize first of all, I didn't realize I was gonna see Mount Adams today. I didn't even know if I could see Mount Adams today because look at the air quality. I mean, we are at that part of the year in which we are not quite all the way in fall, not quite all the way in summer, but very firmly in the season of fire. It's not fire season, that's just the name of the season. It's fire. It goes spring, summer, fire, fall, maybe some more fire, and then winter. But right now we are, we're looking at the beautiful, wonderful Mount Adams volcano, and I didn't realize I was so close. There's a whole lot of revelations for me going on out here. I didn't realize I was so close. I didn't think I could see it. I didn't realize that all trails sometimes had good information. I didn't know any of that stuff, but now I'm face to face with, with that. That is Mount Adams, the second highest point in the state of Washington. The first highest point being that gigantic time bomb known as Mount Rainier that is literally about to explode and, destroy all of Seattle and kill everybody. That's the highest point. This is the second highest point. But look at this. Look at the views that we have. We have beautiful forest. Well, we have giant volcano. We have beautiful forest in this direction. Well, we have, I think I see the geology up there. In a few minutes, there's going to be geology. But right now, that's geology, but it's not geology on where I'm hiking. This is geology from afar. But right now, we have wonderful, beautiful Mount Adams in the distance. It's a volcano. Well, as usual, what was a nice, tranquil, quiet, solitude-inducing hike, well, it's turned into people. Or should I say, people. So I got to the Mount Adams viewpoint. I got there, I was looking at Mount Adams, I was going, ooh. I was feeling at peace with the world and at one with nature and especially with geology. But the humans can sense when I'm actually happy. When an introvert is happy, the extroverts can sense it. Their little extrovert senses start tingling and they're like, no, we can't have that. So, of course, two people and one dog ended up showing up at the spot where I was. Now, I am a believer that it is courtesy, it is ethical, and it is polite to, when you're at a spot, you don't sit there and eat your sandwiches in front of everybody. You don't sit there and talk for an hour and a half with your little buddy. You don't sit there and go, and like meditate. No, you look at the cool thing, you take a picture or two, and then you get the hell out for the next person. Well, course, I tried that, but my backpack wouldn't zip up because I'm weird and awkward anyway. And I'm like trying to zip the backpack up, and these two people are sitting there waiting for their chance of solitude. And I'm like, I want to get out of here. There's people. I hate people. But I finally zipped it up. Finally got the hell out of there. Now, I have to mention that there was one dog. So there's a silver lining to every horror story. But then I got into a semi-introvert standoff with them. That's when you pass somebody and then they pass you. And then you're like, okay, but you catch up to them and then you pass them again and so on and so forth. Well, they're ahead of me on the trail because, of course, I stopped to make this Pulitzer Prize winning diatribe about how much I hate everything. And finally, all is calm again. But the people are out here in the woods. I mean, literally, I had to go down the dirt road of Armageddon to get here. It was bumpy. There was dust. There were rocks. But there was a car behind me and a car in front of me. No matter where I go in the Pacific Northwest, I get pockets of solitude and then envelopes of awful. I get small snips of happiness and love and large gashes of socialization and talking. Just the way it is. Nature giveth, and then, oh boy, does humanity take away. Oh boy, we've got number 2. That's not to say that what we just saw is shit. No, it's not. It's Mount St. Helens, but it's the second volcano from this hike. I literally went around the mountain. One side of the mountain was Mount Adams. The other side of the mountain was Mount St. Helens right there. And then there's something pointy over there. I'm not sure what that is. Might have been a volcano at one point. I don't know. Every single thing out here used to be a volcano. That pine tree, that was a stratovolcano 4,000 years ago. I mean, that's how volcanic this area is. But yeah, we've got Mount St. Helens in the distance. And I'm absolutely surprised I can see anything. Again, we're in fire. Not summer, not fall, but fire. And during fire, you don't get great views, but that's not bad. I'll take it that's Mount St. Helens. Not one of the tallest peaks in the state of Washington. That's on the other side. But yeah, so I'm getting beautiful forest views. I'm getting fall colors. I'm getting volcanoes everywhere. But I'm also getting people. However, I will say, the number of people out here has so far I'm still lucid. I'm still sane. I'm not seeing any dancing leprechauns. No aliens have come from the sky to get me. No, I'm chilling out here. I'm doing okay because I'm getting enough solitude that insanity bar that raises when people are around, it's maintaining at the moment. But doesn't hurt that I'm seeing volcano and weird green pointy thing. There's a pointy thing right there. Well, I'm apparently already heading downhill again, and I didn't see much geology. So, well, up there, that's a rock. I mean, All Trails was promised a Sawtooth. I mean, we're on Sawtooth Mountain. It was promising geology. It was promising rocks. It was promising cool things. And I'm sure the cool stuff is there, but the trail just goes around the mountain and goes back down. I mean, you could do that anywhere. Seriously, why'd I come to Sawtooth Mountain if I don't get to see saw teeth? I mean, yes, I did get to see 2 gigantic stratovolcanoes and some really good views, but I wanted to see jagged rock. I wanted to see the eroded remains of that shield volcano that I'm apparently still standing on. I mean, it is very shield volcano-like. I mean, I could easily slip, fall, and die, but at least the slopes would be more gentle than a stratovolcano. So yeah, I'm on a shield volcano, but I don't know. I was hoping for more rocks. I feel like I'm being deprived of rocks. There's some cool views over there, but Where the hell's my rocks, All Trails? I wanted jagged peaks, All Trails. But no, you gave me a moderate trail and a couple of views of rocks at the very top. It's not exciting. I mean, you hyped me up, All Trails, with your actually relatively nice write-up of what Sawtooth Mountain is, and then you just let me down. I mean, I can't easily die out in nature unless I can have jagged rocks. I mean, yes, I could slide down this thing, but I'd probably end up fine. I'd hit a pine tree, I'd break a couple of legs and maybe my skull, but I'd survive because the universe likes me suffering, not dying. So, I don't know. Just a little bit disappointed in you, All Trails. Well, actually, no, I don't think that's possible because the level of disappointment I usually have in you is pretty deep and forever. So, okay, you're doing your usual thing, All Trails. All right, so I tried multiple times to find a good shot of this, and there's really not one that's not, behind a bunch of trees. But what I will tell you is, although All Trails is all around disappointing and a terrible app, I do see some geology. Finally. It looks kind of like Sawtooth over there. I mean, it's a bunch of rocks, but yeah, that to me looks like eroded volcano. And that's what I came up here to see. I want to see death, devastation, and eroded volcano. And then I want to get the hell back to my car. I mean, that's why I come out here in the wilderness. I want to see something broken. I want to see something deadly. I want to see something pretty. And, I don't want to see any humans because that's just an ugliness that no one should have to experience. But I want to see some cool nature, and then I want to go back to my car. Well, through the two trees right in front of us there is cool nature. More specifically, cool geology. Eroded volcanism. Uh-oh, I hear echoing voices down the trail. So I'm going to make this brief, but I don't know if you can see that on the GoPro. Here, let me see if I can get a better shot. Probably not. No, there's a better shot of the pine tree. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh, that's about as good as you're going to get. You see that geology? Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, there's humans coming, and that's not gorgeous. That's awful. So let's take one last look at the geology that we can barely see through the trees. And let's go before the hellos and the good mornings start. Oh. Well, once again, we have found our old friend, the Pacific Crest Trail, number 2000. Now, I say it in that voice because Forest Service secret. I'll never know. None of us will ever be allowed to know how or why these trails are numbered the way they're numbered. Forest Service ain't talking. Well, now under the orange dictator, the Forest Service doesn't have any staff to talk, and it's probably going to get worse and worse as the dictatorship goes on. But even before the evil emperor took power, they weren't saying. They wouldn't tell me. I tried to get them to talk to me. I sent them a fan mail. I dotted my I's with little hearts and everything. No, they did not answer my inquiry as to the numbering system. But you've heard that diatribe before, and you know that I'm bitter and angry over it. But yeah, so that was Sawtooth Mountain. Now we loop back down the Pacific Crest Trail. And, well, my car is in this general direction, but I'm only at a few miles. So what I'm going to do is, I wonder, do I have a trail that will allow me just endless miles if I wanted? Is there a trail around here where I could just keep going and going, maybe even to, say, the Canadian border? That's right. The Pacific Crest Trail, number 2000, will allow me to go either to Mexico that way, or Canada that way. Of course, I'm just planning on putting in like a couple of extra miles because I'm 46 years old. I walk to and from the bathroom 50 times a day and do about 5 miles just in my house. That's not much of a challenge. So I'm probably going to add a couple of miles, but first thing we're going to do is go back the way we came, and we're going to go past where I parked, and then I'll narrate and give you, award-winning, should be. You hear that, Pulitzer Prize Committee? You need to have a category for off-the-hook, insane rants on the internet, because I make the best. Only I can make the best insane rants on the internet. Nobody makes insane rants better than me. Nobody's more insane than I am. Well, maybe Trump voters, but I make the best insane rants on a hiking trail that heads up to Canada, better than anyone else. I'm going to say in the universe. That's how good I am. And the universe is bigly. Oh yes, the universe is very, very bigly. But enough of that stupidity. What I'm basically trying to say is I'm at the corner of the loop and I'm headed back up the Pacific Crest Trail. And I'm going to add a couple of extra miles just so, I can exercise a little bit more, because heaven knows I got to get off my hamster wheel at home and stretch my legs at least once a week. So let's go stretch our legs in this direction. According to my Apple Watch, I'm at 5 miles. According to, the failure of all humanity, aka all trails. Let me look. I'm at 3.7 miles. The discrepancy is getting larger, and I don't know what's going on. I mean, maybe somehow I've messed up the Apple Watch, or maybe all trails came messed up, so I can't mess up all trails any worse than its designers do, because damn. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Also claims that I've burned 1,200 calories. Well, that's amazing. I only have like 15 million more to go before I, lose a pound. But I don't know what is going on with this technology, or with the technology that I keep in my pocket and hide from society, because I'm totally embarrassed that I use all trails. By the way, it's really embarrassing to use all trails. I mean, the gap is widening between the two. It's like over a mile now. It started out, it was like a quarter of a mile or a little over a quarter of a mile of a difference. But as I'm hiking and I'm going, the gap is increasing. But I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, like literally scary ass woods on the Pacific Crest Trail. Because most of you probably don't know this, the majority of the Pacific Crest Trail is scary ass woods. If you look on a map of the Pacific Crest Trail, you'll just see scary ass woods, volcano, scary ass woods, just written right next to it. Because that's what surrounds the majority of the Pacific Crest Trail. Bigfoot laden, serial killer enticing, scary ass woods. Murder woods, really. This is what I would call the murder woods. Or you could call it the spooky woods, or the ghost woods, or the you're gonna get slaughtered in the bushes woods. Whatever scary ass weird name you want to associate with the woods around the Pacific Crest Trail, feel free. So I'm going through the scary ass woods, and either the Apple Watch is lying to me, or All Trails is lying to me, or they're both full of shit, because one says I'm doing 5 miles, one says I'm doing almost 4. I'm just confused. I mean, I know I'm in the scary ass woods. That is a constant that I can keep in mind. But the rest of it, the rest of it's just chaos. I mean, there's chaos going out here in the woods. Technology is fighting amongst itself. I'm making diatribes, and the Pacific Crest Trail is Pacific Crest Trailing. so I've officially made it back to the road that I came in on. This part of the road is nice and smooth, and a little bit of washboarding here and there, but it's a nice drive from here. Now, if I go back the way I came, it's not so nice. I mean, this road down further is literally like something that H.P. Lovecraft would write about. I'm pretty sure that I drove over a Cthulhu on the way in. I mean, that's how rough that was. Well, okay, it wasn't that bad, but for the sake of comedy, there's Cthulhus down there. Oh, and there's a chipmunk running across the Cthulhus and chipmunks. That's what's out here. But instead of going back to my car, here is our beautiful, wonderful PCT number 2000. And, it just keeps going. You can barely see it at the moment, but Mount Adams is right. There's a volcano right through the trees there. You can see, like, the tippy top of it. But I'm going to probably go do another mile on the PCT, and then a mile back, some another 2 miles or so. All Trails is going to scream at me bloody murder that I'm off the trail and I'm going to die and blah, blah. You know what it usually does. Well, it tries to kill me anyways. I'm not sure why it's even concerned. Hopefully we'll get a better view of the volcano. I don't know. The PCT, number 2000. Does indeed go by Mount Adams. We've been on it over by Mount Adams, so it's nothing new. We're not going to go that far, but yeah, there's some lakes up here I might go to. There's joy and happiness to be had because there's hardly anybody here. Most of the cars that were parked here when I started, they're gone. So shh. We're going to go down the PCT and we're going to enjoy our silence and our solitude because there's probably very few people. And very few people equals happy and incredibly sexy introvert. I am very confused here. So, obviously this sign has been vandalized because humanity is ridiculous and stupid and they do whatever the hell they want because they're ridiculous and stupid. It just is a constant circle there. But, I don't know, it says F the local, and then there's a motorcyclist and someone has painted a line across it. There's also somebody yelling through the woods over there. So, basically people are being jackasses and they're being jackasses in all directions. They're screaming, they're shouting, and they're coming out here and ruining resources. They're destroying signs, and they're genuinely being asshats. Now, there's a lot of people, because I know them, because they watch me, and then they comment, that would say that that's art. Well, I mean, the original sign of the motorcycle guy that was built probably by the government, or whatever company the government contracts with, yes, I'd say that's art. But whatever you did to it, no, you went ahead and messed with a sign that's used for information because you wanted to say F the local. And I don't even know what the hell that means. Well, what is F the local? I don't get it. Why do you people need to put your weird slang and your weird sayings on things that we all have to use? Nobody wants to know that you exist. I certainly don't. Knowing you exist brings me physical nausea. I don't need to know that you're out here. You don't need to show the world that you're an asshat who packs out markers in their bag. Or X-Acto knives or paint pens or whatever you lunatics bring out here. But yeah, apparently somebody thought that they needed to be seen. That they deluded themselves into thinking that it is natural for humans. I've heard the argument about how we used to paint on cave walls and it's completely natural. Well, we used to die when we were 20 years old too. We used to crap in the woods and use a rock as toilet paper. There was a lot of stuff that humans used to do. And then guess what? They outgrew it. And writing on shit, you need to outgrow it. Because basically what you're doing when you're writing on shit is you're acting like a toddler. And the arguments that I get from the pro writing on shit faction or gang or whatever you guys call yourselves, those arguments are toddler arguments. That's something that a toddler would say, well, we used to paint on walls, so I had to deface the sign. It's in my DNA. No. It's not in your DNA. It was in your freaking backpack, and it was a freaking marker. Now, F the locals. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Nobody knows what that is. We don't care what that is. We don't need to see a badly wavy. I mean, look at that. The art on that is wavy. It literally looks like a toddler was out here. Maybe somebody gave a toddler a marker and said, "Go to town on that sign." I mean, that's pretty much on par with what graffiti artists do anyway. So, I don't know. It's complete chaos out here in the woods because people are defacing natural resources that we all. And I just realized that somebody actually put a bullet hole or a little BB hole. You people are animals. And when I say you people, I mean everybody but me, because I'm the only civilized, sane, well-mannered, and incredibly sexy individual out here. And I know that whatever this is wrong. Oh, and also, FYI, that the person who was screaming through the woods had 2 dogs, and he was apparently carrying a, you know, one of those grocery, not the carts, but the hand baskets that you get at the grocery store? He was carrying that. He had 2 dogs off the leash, of course, and he was screaming at them through the forest, and he said hello, unfortunately, and then passed. I don't know what the hell was in his little grocery basket, but I don't think he had a backpack. Of course, I was too distracted by the grocery basket and the dogs running around barking at me, but I think he's just out here foraging for food. That seems to be a thing that hikers do out here. His dogs seemed well fed. He seemed healthy, so I don't think he's homeless. I guess he just likes to come out here and bring his basket and sticks things in it. I don't know what he's sticking in it. Maybe he has sticks, maybe rock. Maybe he's collecting rocks. Maybe he's out there. He could be foraging for mushrooms, although I haven't seen a whole lot of those yet. I think in the next month there's going to be more of those. But he's out here doing something with a basket. You people are writing all over signs, and this guy's doing his grocery shopping out here in the forest. I come out here for solitude and for sanity, and you people just drive me crazy. And again, when I say you people, I mean all of you. Okay, I have nobody to blame for this but myself this time. So I've officially hit 7 miles according to all trails. I'm no longer on, got the sun beating down on me too. I am no longer on the hike that all trails prescribe because I took a mile and went down the PCT. And then I was hoping I'd find something cool down here, but literally just found the middle of the woods. That's it, just the middle of the woods. I mean, usually when this happens, it's because All Trails has just taken me in the middle of the woods and said, here, survive. Well, today, I took myself out to the middle of the woods, and there's some guy with a grocery basket and dogs running around, and aside from that, it's quiet. It's really, really quiet. They're watching. What they are, but I'm sure it's out there and I'm sure it's watching. But the bonus is I've literally just brought myself to the middle of the woods. I'm leaving myself here in the middle of the woods, but this is my turnaround point. I'm at 7 miles, so I'm gonna go back that way to my car. This is the part of the hike where I can actually be like, oh, I'm gonna go back to the trailhead, I'm gonna go find my car, and yippity, I'm gonna run away, and then all the Bigfoots can go hungry for one more week because I'm not out here. That's where we are right now. Well, actually, we're in the middle of the woods at the moment, but we're going to go back the way I came, and we're going to get out of the middle of the woods because there's literally nothing out here for miles and miles and miles, except for them. When I figure out who them are, I'll let you know. But until then, let's go back. Well, I'm officially off the All Trails map, so I don't have to come up with some witty line to call All Trails. I mean, we all know that All Trails is the thing from the devil, but I don't need to call it the thing from the devil because kind of not using it. I mean, I know where I am. I'm on the PCT. That way to Weird Ham and Hockey. That way to Trump's really freaking ineffective border wall. And tacos and Guadalajara Cancun. So given that I'm not just headed back to Mexico, I'm also headed back to my car. I think now is a good time for us to do our trail rating. Now, for those of you who don't know, and given the number of views my videos get, that's a lot of you who don't know. We rate our trails on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst possible scenario. Now, it's an introversion scale, so it's the worst possible scenario for an introvert. It's what I would call introvert hell, and that is Disneyland on the 4th of July. So on the 4th of July in Disneyland, the 7 dwarves have come out of the Snow White Scary Ride, and they all have rabies. Nobody ever talks about rabies for magical fairy tale dwarves, but trust me, they're real and they're terrifying because these dwarves have already infected half the park. And of course the rabies turned the rest of the park goers into zombies. So there's literally zombies everywhere. There's half-eaten brains all over the sidewalk. The Casey Jr. train has been, well, it's demolished. It's in pieces. It's on fire. Star Tours has literally exploded. There's a spaceship stuck into another building, like a piece of a spaceship. And all hell and chaos has broken out. Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, and the rest of the cartoon characters, well, they're hiding in Toontown because there's zombies out there. And of course, you know, being Disneyland on the 4th of July, the churros cost about $500 million. That's actually relatively cheap. If you use your annual pass, you get like a 10% discount on that. So the Disney Corporation has to, well, I mean, they have zombies running around. They have to make money wherever they can. Overall, it's loud, it's obnoxious, brains are being eaten, people are screaming, and It's a Small World is also on fire. Although, given the fact that that ridiculous song gets stuck in my head every single time I have to hear it, that might not be a bad thing. That might be the only good thing to come out of the zombie invasion of Disneyland on the 4th of July. But that is to say that all that made up idiocy would be terrible for an introvert. It would be loud, it would be crowded, and it would be introvert hell. But if you contrast that to a 10 on our scale, which is what I would call introvert heaven or introvert nirvana, what that would be is the equivalent of just you all by yourself in a research station in the middle of Antarctica. You're stationed there all by yourself. No one's there. You've got solitude, you've got peace, and you also have an army of sentient, government-created, genetically modified, highly intelligent, and human-eating penguins. You, in their eyes, you're King Penguin. You're not human. But anybody else that even dares to think about coming near your compound, oh, they will be waddled, my friends. They will be waddled. Quack. Waddle, waddle, waddle. Quack. Waddle, waddle, waddle. Scream! Okay, I just made that noise and the entire forest echoed. So let's just get to the part where I say that there's solitude, there's happiness, and you know, you're all by yourself and you're guarded by human-eating penguins. What could be better in this life? I would call that introvert heaven / introvert nirvana. And I just realized that when I do weird screams and stuff in the woods, I'm literally the scariest thing out here. No wonder people think Bigfoot's out here. It's not Bigfoot, it's me with a GoPro. But anyway, that's a 10 on our scale. So on that ridiculously stupid, and I should probably come up with something new, but I've been doing this for so long that I don't want to. I'll just make this dumber every time. But on that ridiculous scale, I'm going to give this hike, which is the all trail hike plus the 2 miles apparently I'm doing on the Pacific Crest Trail in addition to that, I'm going to give this about an 8. I mean, yes, there were people in the very beginning of the hike, and that was admittedly awful. But since then, since I left basically Sawtooth Mountain, it's been quiet. The Pacific Crest Trail has literally been silent, except for that jerk with a GoPro, but that's a whole other story. I've had solitude, I've had happiness, I've had peace of heart, and I've probably had like 1,000 predators stalking me, but again, that's the price you pay for solitude and peace of heart. As long as they don't come out and say hello and good morning, we're good. But that leads me to our misery index. Scale of 1 to 5, measurement of my misery. with one being absolute fiction. It's as made up as that ridiculous crap I just said about Disneyland in Antarctica. I mean, there is no possible way I could ever have no misery whatsoever, because look at me. I'm in the middle of these beautiful woods, and I'm making up weird rants about Disney zombies. But that scale goes all the way to a 5, which of course is the worst possible misery you could ever experience. And yeah, I get that. Like, I mean, I was at Sawtooth Mountain and I saw one person. That was a 5, and then the scale exploded and I went to a 5 gazillion because my human allergy, the fact that I'm allergic to humans, it really flares up when there's humans, and that's just miserable. You know how allergies are? Think about the seasonal allergies. Imagine human allergy. Seeing them all the time. I mean, they've literally infested this planet. There's no medication for what I have. I just have to endure it. And thus, when I see humans, I'm miserable. But as I said, most of this hike has been relatively human-free and, well, mostly noise-free. Except for that jerk with the GoPro. We know that. So my misery index right now is about a 2.5, which is my default. It got up maybe to a 4 or 5 when I was at Sawtooth Mountain and had to see people. But I'm not out here with any people anymore, and all is good. So that's where we are on the scales today. That's where we are on the trail rating. That's where we are on the misery index. And this is where I am on the planet Earth. Alright, so although I don't have the thing that haunts my dreams and nightmares, aka all trails, to count down the remaining mileage for me because I'm, doing my own thing at the moment. I know, having been through this area before, that I am just about back to the trailhead, and thus just about back to my car and back to all that wonderful freedom that being in my car affords me. The ability to go home, the ability to hide in my room, and the ability not to talk to humanity for like another week. I mean, that's true freedom right there. But that also means that it is just about time for us to part and say our adieus. But before that, let's do a quick recap. So today I was out in the Indian Heaven wilderness here in beautiful fall-like. Look at this, there's fall colors, there's reds, there's yellows, there's greens, there's slightly more yellows, there's even more yellows. I mean, there's a whole lot of yellow and reds and oranges going on out here today. And we're just in the middle of September. Imagine what it will be like in October. But we went up to Sawtooth Mountain via the Pacific Crest Trail. We did the loop and we came back down, and then I added another mile or so, or 2 miles actually, on through the Pacific Crest Trail going north towards Canada. But along the way, I got to see, well, beautiful fall colors. I mean, seriously, there's reds, there's oranges, there's slightly more oranges, there's well, that looks dead. There's some reddish stuff here. Again, the same spiel. It's fall-like out here. But I also got to see, the dense forest. I got to see some cool geology, and I got to see Mount St. Helens and Mount Adam. And above all else, I got some wonderful, beautiful solitude in the middle of the dark, creepy woods. But it was still solitude, and it was beautiful. But alas, it is time for us to say our goodbyes. And of course, that means that it's time for me to say, stay introverted, everyone. And of course, I'll see you on the next adventure.